Understanding of market trends is one, but anticipating the market trends becomes very crucial. You have to keep your eyes and ears open all the time. You have to continuously think two steps ahead of where the world is today. Unless you do that, you will not be able to stay ahead of technological advancement because it is changing so fast. Unless you are two steps ahead and you are able to understand where market trends are going, you will not be able to really bring out the product which suits the customer requirements. You will always run a risk of being late in the market. And to avoid that, only way is to anticipate market trends. That's one key area.
Welcome to another episode of Value Seller Talks with Deepak Bajaj, where we bring you inspirational conversation with industry leaders who are driving innovation and creating an impact. I'm your host Deepak, and today we have a very special guest, Bhuvnesh Sachdeva. Bhuvnesh is a seasoned technology leader with over 2.5 decades of experience in product design, development, business strategy, sales enablement, and go-to-market activities. Currently serving at a leadership role in one of the Indian manufacturing organization, he has been instrumental in redefining product development processes, driving innovation, and enabling exponential growth, especially from the Indian perspective. His expertise spans mobile networks, next generation connectivity solution, and business transformation strategies, which is the need of the hour. With vision to take India at global height and working towards effortlessly in achieving that goal, Bhuvnesh has always been an active speaker at numerous industry events and international stages. He has published various articles and blogs and always been a center of global attraction. This reflects his attitude of giving back to the society. In this episode, we will explore how innovation in product development fuels business success and the evolution of connectivity solutions and the strategies that develop and drive the sustainable growth. So, Bhuvnesh, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Deepak. Thank you for having me on this podcast, and it's really my pleasure to be here.
Pleasure all ours as well. And thanks for taking your time. I know it's a very busy days for you, but yes, and thank you again, once again, from the whole Value Seller team. So, Bhuvnesh, we see you at every event, every platform, wherever there's an innovation, your name is by default, right? So you always talk about the technology innovations, but I like to know who is Bhuvnesh Sachdeva as a person.
Thank you, Deepak. Let me share a bit about myself. I was born, brought up in Delhi, and my fascination with technology actually began at an early stage where I would open up all my toys and the screwdriver had been my favorite tool all along. So I would open up, curious to understand how they work, and would try to assemble them back. That was early days of my journey, fascination with technology. Outside of work, I'm an avid reader. I love to read. I actually carry a full library in my car, and I love to read anytime I'm traveling or I get any free time.
Mm.
Other than reading as my hobby, I am a painter and also a calligraphy artist. So I love my brushes, my pens, my inks, and my watercolors. They help me keep inspired, help me stay balanced. My passion for technology is only matched by my love for continuous learning. I love to explore new books, new places, new cultures, new geographies, new ideas, new art techniques, new technologies. I, I, I think that learning is something that will continue to be with me for my life. So that's what I am.
Wow. So creativity with the help of pens, brushes itself shows that what we call it a left side of the brain you are nurturing. I
Yes.
read, and that's very much important when you talk about the innovation because innovation in today's world is creativity.
Absolutely.
And I love the idea because the giants in the industry giant which I'm talking about nowadays, they all have a one thing common, which is screwdriver. So, so
Yeah,
it could
that's the engineer's tool that we always carry in our back pocket.
definitely, and all the creativity and assembling and disassembling and the curiosity is something which that screwdriver can create a miracle, for the for
Yes.
the for the current generation as well as for the future generation always. Right. So,
Yes.
and thanks for bringing that up. And it's created a lot of curiosity now for me, that how the life from a screwdriver to handling a multinational organization has evolved. So I start from a product design because that is your forte. So tell us more about it. What exactly comes in this product designing, and how complex it is?
Okay, so I started my career as a hardware designer almost 25 years back. And I was always intrigued by how technology can be used to solve real world problems and improve lives of people. That
Hmm.
was the time when in India we were not really focused on developing our own products. We were mostly dependent on foreign technology. And that was the time I thought that why not we do this here in India by ourselves, so that not only we develop products which actually suit the needs of our local people, but also give us an edge over innovations which were missing in those eras.
Hmm.
Over the years, I had the privilege of working on some of the various very innovative products, and always the idea had been to understand how this product or this particular technology will help ease the life of the normal people. That
Hmm.
had been the starting point, and from there we never looked back.
Hmm.
The fundamental, if we consider that whatever product we are designing is not just functional, but it is also intuitive and enjoyable to use by the customer, that makes a product from a good product to a great product. And that's what had been the baseline or the fundamental of all the product designs we have been doing. As you said, it is really complex and
Hmm.
multifaceted process, which many people undermine because people do not really realize what goes on into designing a great product. So it's a complex process for sure.
Hmm. And uh, can I say, like, when you started, obviously the first thing is the domestic need, but now today we are talking about the exporting. So make India as a export hub, right? So I'm pretty much sure now that this design from good to great, you know, this transition is a lot of learning for you as a person as well.
That's right. And as I said, that we started designing products which actually cater to Indian market, and
Mm,
we have also realized that Indian needs are much more complex than anywhere else in the world. So, if a product performs well in Indian conditions, we believe that it can perform anywhere in the world. Plus, over time, the geographical boundaries from a technology perspective have been dissolving. Now it's just one world we talk about. So the products that we use here, they perform anywhere in the world. The only difference remains is the regulatory requirements of different countries. But
yeah.
per se, any product we design today, they are complied to all the global standards, and they are ready to be used in any market. So transitioning from a era when we used to think local requirements and design a product. Now we think of global standards, global requirements, design a product which can be tuned or configured to meet any country's requirements. And typically the requirements change from a regulatory perspective only. Everything else remains the same. It's one world now.
It's the one word. Yeah, agree. Any situation, during this product designing or the development, which you still remember, which became a nightmare for you? Some timeline pressure or some XYZ things.
Not not one, many things I can really remember. One particular incident I want to bring it here, and without naming any customer or any product, we designed one product which was truly of its kind in the world, and we started supplying it to one of a very large customers. For them also, it was a new experiment to be deployed in their network for serving their customers. But
Mm.
of course, when it comes to serving end customers, quality becomes the prime.
True.
We supplied these products and in hundreds of thousands of units, hundreds of thousands. It
Mm.
was deployed across the country. And one day we realized that we made a mistake in the product.
Oh, after the
And the
deployment.
mistake was such a fatal mistake where it would cause the product to fail within a year of operation. And we guarantee the typical product life to be around 5 years and extendable up to 10 years.
Mm.
The moment we realized, we had to approach the customer. We had to tell them that this is the mistake that has happened. Although you are not seeing the disastrous effects now, but it may start to show up anytime.
Mm.
Of course, they got furious. All it was a difficult discussion to have, but eventually they realized that we have the right intent. We made a mistake. We are coming up with the. It was a hardware mistake, so it was not that we could fix it in the software.
Mm.
We sat with them with cool mind, defined a strategy. How do we replace all these hundred thousands of units which are already deployed in a large geography? How do we recall these units back and make sure that one by one every unit is replaced, they are updated, and they never face the problem which we anticipate it will come.
Mm.
Eventually, it was a 1 year project, very kind support from our end customer. We successfully ran this project, replaced every single unit in the field, and they never faced any problems. So
Mm.
that was one incident which actually gave nightmares, which kept me awake in the nights, could not sleep for months together. And it was a nightmare, but if I look back, it was a great learning experience. And I
Yeah.
tell my team always that we should never be afraid to make mistakes. We should
Mm.
never be afraid to fail. As long as we understand, we learn from our failures, we learn from our mistakes, and make sure we don't repeat those in the future.
Yeah.
So that had been a great learning experience for us.
So you highlighted very few important part, not from a professional perspective, but from a personal perspective as well. Acceptance, accept, and then react to solve that in a teamwork, whether it's your internal team or whether it's your customer team. And it happens in the personal relationship also. Like and if we accept what is going wrong, obviously there's no such thing called monetary in the personal relationship. It's all about the emotions. But when it comes to professional, and you have a SLAs and the penalties and all the things, which is much more a nightmare for every organization, because replacing and redeployment, reshipping, though there are a huge costs incurred.
It was a nightmare. It was really a nightmare, both personally, professionally, and of course, financially for the organization.
Yeah.
But I must say that the customer supported us well. And eventually, end of the day, we did not really feel that we have lost anything. We built our trust back. We made sure that customers' network continued to operate flawlessly, and they continue to give us orders. So
Yeah.
that was the win that I must say we had.
Yeah. And that's the integrity of the individual as well as for the whole organization.
Organization, correct.
That's what the people tend to get a long-term relationship rather than a short-term transactions.
Absolutely.
Thank you for bringing that up. I still remember there are a lot many cases happened in the past where people try to put a blame game, but very few people come forward and say, no, guys, this is the mistake. Uh, thank you. And I'm pretty much sure the young leaders who are listening, or the team leaders also who are listening, they will take this thing as a very on a very positive note, and that will change their strategies in the future as well.
Thank
Um,
you.
Now, from a product development to a leader, I should say a global leader, business leader. So there are so many caps which you are wearing. So how this transition happened?
Early in my life, I started to take more responsibilities,
Hmm.
more than what I was assigned as an engineer. And once I started to take more responsibilities, I started to understand various gamut of activities that go on as part of product development. And I also started mentoring my junior team members.
Hmm.
And during the course, I realized that only empowering others and instilling a sense of ownership in them is all
Hmm.
about an effective leadership. An unnamed, just a kind of a team lead, I became an unnamed or unthroned leader just
Hmm.
because I understood that I have to empower my team and instill a sense of leadership, a sense of ownership in them so that they understand that whatever they are doing, they own it.
Right.
And over time, I honed my skills in strategic thinking, communication, of course, which is very important, and decision making. Decision making, when all facts are on the table, you have to analyze all facts, all data, and take a decision. That is also one of the key ingredients that is involved in an effective leadership.
Hmm.
Importance of vision, clearly thinking forward, clearly communicating what you think to your team, adaptability, and resilience in unfavorable conditions. These are the skills that I must tell every future leader that they must inculcate so that they can create an example of an effective leadership.
No, very true. And one more part which I am able to take out from this statement, that when you delegate your responsibility to a person who is still in the learning phase, because he is getting ready for the big challenges, the types and the quantum of mistakes is also high. So then at
Yes.
the end of the day, the acceptance, okay, this is something which we are doing. This is a calculated risk which we are doing on betting on a new person, and becoming a wall between the management pressure and the technical operations. And obviously, when I say management, it also includes the customers also.
Yes.
So, and
And that's all about ownership, actually. When people start to own things, they own their mistakes, they own their learnings, they own their successes. And eventually, as a leader, you have to shield them from the pressure that comes from outside world, from be it from the customers or higher management or whatever, and give them a culture where they are not afraid to make mistakes. They are not afraid to accept that they have made a mistake. Once
right.
you have that, then creativity flows. Innovation happens in that kind of a culture.
No, no, agree, and it's very, very important, especially to the entrepreneurs or maybe the companies who are just booming up, right? And they want to hold everything in their own hands. They want to become a CFO also, they want to become a CEO also, they want to become a CTO also, and at the end of the day, the outcome is, at a standstill.
So you have to trust your team, delegate the responsibility, delegate the authority, understand and have the faith that they will perform. And that's the key to success.
Mhm. Now, I would like to move into the business part, right? Product is something which I still say is a controllable. You have a labs, you have you can create an environment for that particular development. But when it comes to the business, when you're talking with the unknown, right, where the money comes, where the POs comes, right, the purchase order and the work orders come.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
what key factors you consider for any businesses to grow, especially in the today's time, which is changing every day?
Especially in the tech world where we are working. Understanding of market trends is one, but anticipating the market trends becomes very crucial. You have to keep your eyes and ears open all the time. You have to continuously think two steps ahead of where the world is today. Unless you do that, you will not be able to stay ahead of technological advancement because it is changing so fast. Unless you are two steps ahead and you are able to understand where market trends are going, you will not be able to really bring out the product which suits the customer requirements. You
Mhm.
will always run a risk of being late in the market. And to
Right.
avoid that, only way is to anticipate market trends. That's one key area. Second, even not everyone can be successful all the time in anticipating market trends. It's not something that is a skill that everyone can acquire or everyone can be successful all the time. Even when you are not able to anticipate or things changed so drastically that you were caught off guard,
Hmm.
Agility and adaptability to the change is very critical. Businesses must be able to pivot very quickly in response to changing circumstances and seize new opportunities as they arise. Unless we are able to catch every wave that is coming, or at least most of the waves that are coming, sustaining the business becomes very difficult. So, adaptability and agility are two critical parameters that we must incorporate in our business environment.
Hmm. So when it comes to this part, capturing or anticipating the waves, and so I believe there's a lot of research or the teams which is working at the back end, other than the product development, because they also have to, and and most of the people think that they are an expense, you know, because no one, and that's where the balance sheet has to be, should also justify their numbers and their costs. So how you advise to the people, the technology companies who are in this market but who are not able to understand what is the waves going on? They assume, but they are not, predicting it correctly.
So, in my understanding, every successful product company has one team who does nothing but research. They
Hmm.
are not involved in any product development. They just define what is to be done. Product development team just follows their advice. They don't really decide by themselves what is to be done. How is their area? Execution is their area. But what is to be done is most critical. That is defined by a very specialized team. In our terminology, we call them product line managers.
Hmm.
They
Oh.
are the ones who clearly define a product, its feature set, and also they have the skill to dynamically adapt the requirements to an ever changing scope and market requirements or customer needs. They are the ones who actually are responsible for catching the wave. If they
Hmm.
miss it, it's a miss for the entire team. So, as you mentioned, if any organization feels that they are a cost, I think they are the most important cost that you have to incur, and they
Hmm.
will bring you the returns that you are looking for. Not the product team, not the sales team. It is the product definition team who will actually define your success.
Very important message, and you gave a more clarity to the people who want to, cut the dollars, save the some pennies, but they are going for a bigger loss in the coming time, because it's all because most of the people are working on the assumptions, only the assumption,
And it doesn't work in these days.
and
It
this
doesn't
doesn't
work.
work.
Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. Now, when we talk about the dynamics, right? So today we all are talking about the connectivity as a basic layer, right? And all the solutions are coming in, and on top of that, there are a lot many applications. So, as per your advice or your perspective, what are the key trends which you think that is changing the future of the connectivity?
If I have to name one, I would say AI.
Hmm.
AI is not just a buzzword. Most of the people say that it is a hype, it's a buzzword. I say it is actually revolutionizing how networks are built in ways beyond many's imagination.
True.
In the most basic form, if we don't get into very advanced technological details, in the very basic form, AI is actually redefining today how networks are deployed, how they are configured, and entire operations and maintenance is completely being redefined by automating all the tasks, optimizing the performance, again automated, enabling predictive and proactive issue resolution. Even before the customers start to see an issue, they predict and resolve the issue even before it comes. That was
Hmm.
never the case, and AI is actually the driving factor behind this smarter and more efficient networks. So if I have to say one technology trend that is shaping the future, is AI. Other than that, of course, another branch of AI is robotics process automation, that is becoming increasingly important for service providers to really bring in operational efficiency, cut down the costs. On top of this, another very important innovation which are driving today's connectivity is optimizing the energy consumption.
Hmm.
The world has realized that energy consumption, unless optimized, and move to more sustainable resources, green energy, we will not be able to reduce the impact that environment is taking from old generation telecommunication systems. That is another area which is actually shaping the future of connectivity solutions.
Energy, carbon footprints, and lot many things are happening. So I understand
The
that.
words that I've used, they seem to be small, but they are a vast area of research by themselves, and so much is going on these days. And we are we are one generation who should be proud to say that we are seeing all these with our eyes happening, all this revolution happening in the technology areas today. There was a time when we used to say that telecom is an evolution, it's not a revolution. Today it is actually becoming a revolution.
Uh, True, true. And yeah, the carbon part which you talk about, it's a very important topic. So all the summits, even the this transformation, from carbon emissions to zero carbon or net zero. These times, new statements are coming and new vision statements are coming from the big corporates. So that's very much important. And
Absolutely.
I'm pretty much sure that they, in when you talk about energy efficiency, and there's a one very unique cases of AI into that domain as well. Although it's a lengthy discussion, a technical discussion, but yes, these has to be incorporated if we really want to make the future greener as well as sustainable as well.
We want to leave a better world for our future generations, and this is one of the most important steps that we have to take today.
So totally agree with you. Now focus basically on this the market, right? The if we'll see the trend from last 3 months or maybe 6 months, everything has been changed. So the person who is new in the market, or maybe an entrepreneur with a 2 years or 3 years old company, how they should define the market success in this rapidly changing environment.
See, of course, success can be different for different businesses. Eventually, every business has to sustain, they have to be profitable. That's one facet of success. But if I have to generalize success for any business, any industry, I would say customer delight is the success. If your customer is happy, everything follows. And as you said that things are changing so fast, customer delight is it actually starts with not just understanding but anticipating the evolving needs of your customers. It requires active listening, continuous feedback loops, and above all, a deep commitment of delivering value to your customers, which align to their changing expectations. Changing is the key word here. Customer expectations are changing every day, they are evolving. And if you are deeply committed to align your deliveries to their expectations, to their changing expectations, that's the success. And I believe that any business will thrive and continue to grow if their prime focus is customer delight.
And that comes with the integrity, that come with your taking a first bold step to solve their problem, which maybe they are aware about or maybe they are unaware, right?
Absolutely.
And the way, I believe that customer want that someone is serious, so they should be at their premises all the time to understand that what's going on. So it shows their seriousness, and that's where the bonding starts, because people work with the trusted partners.
And then as an organization, you need to inculcate a culture where people are open to change. They embrace change. They are ready to innovate on the fly in response to new trends, new customer demands, changing expectations. Everything of this, it brings a real customer delight, which becomes the baseline of your success. And
Hmm.
everything else follows.
True.
Your profitability, your revenue, your sales numbers, everything else will follow.
Hmm. Now, remaining on this customer point, so I just want to ask the customer which you referred, where you talk about the mistake which happened. I believe that customer still is your customer, right?
Absolutely. They have been one of our largest customers since the inception of our business, and they continue to be the largest customer for us.
So thanks for bringing that thing. So this is a very important message to all the entrepreneur, startup, or maybe a business of any sort, that if you play your cards well, you show your integrity, you talk about the customer openly, and you consider for the long-term vision, the customers also want the trusted partners. So become
Yes.
a trusted partner, not a transactional partner.
Absolutely. And that trust is the key.
Trust is the
Once
key.
your customer trusts you, they are open to share with you what they have in mind. And unless you understand their mind, you will not be able to fulfill their needs. And
Hmm.
to enable them to open up their mind in front of you, it requires that deep trust to be built. And this is one of the key: be transparent, be open, show your integrity. Your real commitment towards delivering value is what builds trust.
Very important message. Thanks for bringing it up. Today, the customer acquisition is not so easy because customers are more educated than us, because they get a understanding from all the partners, all the vendors, as well as the Google is always on their is always available on their on their fingertips. So
Yes.
don't try to become honest. Don't try to play tactfully. Be transparent. So it's a
Yes.
very important, and you're learning from the person who is dealing, the billionaire customers, every day. So take his words. Uh, Now, if I look into another, one layer down from the business side, companies, the culture is okay because it's a not a very a very large organization. They may be a medium organization, but they generally face a problem of scaling their offerings, which will impact their business scale also. When I say business scale, the revenue or maybe the
Mhm.
acquisition of the new customer is challenging for them. So
Mhm.
what advice you would like to share with for those?
Okay, two, three things that I would advise to all young entrepreneurs, small and medium size businesses. The first and foremost is having a strong and talented team of motivated individuals. That is most essential for any business. Unless you have a strong team of people who are motivated and, of course, talented in your area, that forms the baseline for delivering what your customers would need, and that becomes the fundamental of scalability. Unless you have that team, you'll not be able to scale.
Mm.
And to build that team, it requires investing in employee development, fostering a culture of innovation, and all those things that I talked about. Give them uh, an environment where they strive. They are not afraid to make mistakes. Of course, this is about team now. Once the team is in place, they are building products for you or services for you. Now you have to scale. So there are multiple strategies that companies follow. One of which is product-led growth strategy, wherein the primary driver of customer acquisition, retention, expansion is the product itself. So once you have built a product, it continues to evolve, continues to improve, continues to solve customer problems more and more. And then, of course, product lines grow around it so that you are able to capture not just the current set of customers you have, but you
Mm.
are able to enter into new set of customers, new geographies, new demographies, and significantly enhance your growth opportunities. So entering new markets with a product-led growth strategy becomes important to scale up your business. And nowadays, scaling up, first, as I mentioned, it's about your team, then it's about product-led strategy, product-led growth, entering new markets, new demographies, bringing in efficiency, which is also crucial for scalability. You now have a large set of tools that you should leverage. Leverage
Mm.
technology. As I mentioned, AI is the buzzword today. Implementing these advanced technologies, automations, it can streamline your operations, bring your costs in control, enhance scalability, optimize your processes, improve decision making by leveraging all these technologies which are available today to you. The, this is the recipe to scale your business. Unless you have these basic fundamentals, scaling becomes tough. After one point, you will saturate. To go beyond that saturation, you will need to build in all these processes in place.
Rightly mentioned, because once that it's all about the team, then enabling the team with the help of these smart tools, obviously backed by AI, automation, and then the product itself has a good roadmap which can solve the customer problem which is in hand, and also make a wave for the next few years as a roadmap. So
And then entering new markets,
then
capturing new customers.
and you rightly mentioned the product which work for India is already, adopted by across the globe. With the
Yep.
most challenges come from the regulator, but yes, specification and the feature wise is easy to scale it up or to add something or customize. But the customization is maybe a 15-20%, but 80% your framework is completed.
Yes.
No, it's a great thing, and obviously, you can always scale and enter the new markets with the same zeal, because I should say it's a fun then. The business become a
Yes.
fun, right?
It becomes a good challenge for teams to solve. They say that if I have been successful in this particular market, this particular segment, what it takes to for me to be successful in this new market, new segment, and new customers also. It becomes a fun challenge that teams would like to take up and solve.
Mm. Right. And I agree. So yeah, take the business as a fun, but not as a transactional things, because fun means not fun for you, but it's fun for the end customer, which will actually make them a delighted, become a
Yes.
delight customer. No,
Yes.
thanks. These are all are. I'm not able to make a note, but yes, I'm definitely make a summary of all these things, because it itself is a big guide for everyone.
Thank you.
And I must recommend you can also publish a book, Bhuvnesh, because your ideas are so bright, so realistic, and so practical. And if it work for a medium or in low scale companies, it will work for any organization in this world.
See, all these ideas are coming from starting in a company as the junior most engineer and now heading in the same company, the R&D organization of the company, which is more than 300 people plus. And so all this is coming from my 2.5 decades of experience. So I can say that these are all seen and experienced with my own hands. It's not that I've read any book or anything, but I agree. The
You should
writing a
write a
book
book.
can be can be one thought that I should seriously pursue.
And it is because nowadays the real hand or the first hand experiences are missing. People know, but it takes some effort. I can talk about my personal experience after writing a fun book, but yes, it will really create a lot of value. And the book has been to be written not for the current generation, but the generation which is coming in the market and who face the real world challenges, and these books actually give them a hand holding.
Sure.
Thanks for t taking my request of writing a book. I really want it, and I would be your first
Good.
person to buy that book.
Thank you. I would do that certainly.
Uh, Especially now, if we talk on the connectivity, staying on the topic, so we started from 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G. Wi-Fi is also a very crucial factor when we talk about the industry revolutions as well. So what's next beyond it? Like, where the future of this wireless connectivity is going, and it really has a ground to play. Does it have really legs to walk and run?
Certainly, the next generation of research is already going on. People have started talking about 6G already. Wi-Fi 8 people have started talking already. While there are transformative promises in these new generation technologies like 6G, Wi-Fi 8, and so on. They are promising 100 times speeds faster than 5G, near instant latency, AI-driven optimizations, and whatnot. But I strongly believe we are still a little far from having these implemented commercially around the
Mm,
world. In fact, I strongly believe, and it's my personal opinion, that a lot of potential is still unharnessed
mm,
in the current generation technology, which is 5G and Wi-Fi 7. I believe lot of potential is still unharnessed, which is going to get evolved in the coming years, as we would see. People are developing new use cases. We couple of years back, we were only talking about use cases in theory.
mm,
People started to prove the use cases, do proof of concepts, do experimentations, small demos in last uh, few months or last year or so. I believe the mass adoption on of those use cases is still pending. It is not happening, or it has not happened to the global level. There may be few pockets here and there in the world where this has been done. So coming back to your question, while next leap in wireless technology could be 6G, Wi-Fi 8, and so on, but I believe a lot of use case implementations of current technology, 5G and Wi-Fi 7, I think that is also something which is going to be transformative from a user experience perspective.
mm.
These technologies actually have potential and promise to transform or make the life of users very easy and enhance the level of experience.
Yeah. And any use case, like as you mentioned that over the time we have seen a lot of MVPs, minimum viable products in the market. Ideation has increased with the startups, and but any you are in the market, you are actually getting a you have experienced what these guys are offering in the on. So any use case which is still missing, which you think should be taken on the higher priority by any of the company, like.
I think if I have to, I can think of many right now, but if I have to name one, I would say advanced telemedicine is something that has been in discussions for long now. Now is
Mm,
the time to implement it to a level where real-time remote diagnostics, real-time remote treatments, especially for rural and underserved regions, becomes a reality. That is something that has to happen now because now we have all the tools, we have use cases proven, we have implementations going on in some parts of the world, but they have not reached the real users who are underserved in rural areas who do not really have direct access to these kind of services. So advanced telemedicine has to become a reality with the kind of technologies we have today. This high speed connectivity of 5G, almost zero latency use cases that we are talking about. Leveraging these, advanced telemedicine has to become a reality in the coming months or coming year. This is one use case which I believe has great potential to really enhance lives of people around the world.
mm, yeah. Yeah, the more we are touching this human health or human factors, the better. And we all, yeah, I remember like from last 4 5 years, this is always been a topic. But yes, we have never seen except some videos on LinkedIn where the some robots are actually stitching a banana peel and something like this. But
So exactly that is what I'm saying. POCs are done, technology is in place, all tools are there. Now it has to be executed, implemented for the real users of this technology. If we are able to implement this in remotest parts of the world where people are really utilizing this every day, that is a success of this technology that we should say.
agree, and yeah, we wish that this thing should come into the reality, and hopefully, maybe some part of the world, someone is some innovator and creator is doing and implementing it that way. as well. Now, when I move towards this AI, you already mentioned few parts of using the AI in the product development, designing, bringing the automations, and proactively, testing it, and giving the assumptions, giving the results as well. So if we talk about from a manufacturing perspective, so how the AI is you are going to use and what type of gaps you want to use it, if given the liberty.
A lot of things are already happening in the industry 4.0 already, utilizing a lot of AI use cases. I fundamentally believe that with the accuracy and advancements and speed that AI is bringing in, we should be able to improve the productivity
Mm.
in terms of yield when we do manufacturing. Every single unit that comes out of the manufacturing line has to be perfect. People have achieved 99.999% accuracy. I think we are not far from achieving 100%. Improving efficiency, which means that lesser manpower leading to higher productivity. Achieving supply chain efficiencies, wherein you are able to manage really just in time. You do not have to keep an inventory and you do not really have to uh, let the customers wait for things to be available. So these supply chain efficiencies, AI use cases are actually driving all of these today to a level that we are able to achieve efficiency which were never imaginable before. And I
Mm.
believe this has to evolve even further in all the areas, not just manufacturing, even in the areas of product development. We are seeing a lot of automations in streamlining design tasks, simulations, which used to take very highly skilled manpower, weeks and months of efforts. They are becoming very fast and more accurate than ever. So I think AI is going to take the lead in product design, product testing, manufacturing, and even after shipping to the customers, once they get deployed, we are able to predictively anticipate issues, solve them even before they arrive. So all this is becoming real with the advent of AI.
Mm. And the good part is now it's a reality, right?
It's a
So
reality.
it's a reality. Obviously, it's not 100%, uh, the stage which we have thought about, but yes, at least the results and this type of manual intervention can be reduced, or maybe the customer should know what is going to be in their network and how their network is going to perform.
And it's evolving much faster than you and me can imagine. It's evolving much, much faster, which is good thing. I think in coming months or years, we would see all these use cases around us, around everyone. We will see that as a reality.
And we look forward for that, and I believe that's where that's become a baseline. Like the earlier the connectivity of GPRS became a baseline, although with a very just to give a experience, then 3G, then 4G, then 5G. Now these type of applications will become a baseline, and connectivity will remain the default. The good quality of service will remain the default factor. No
Yes.
no compromises. Um, you always talk about the teams, right? So how the businesses can cultivate innovation within the teams? Because all the person are not the same, they have a
Hmm.
different era of thinking, they have a different era of taking the risk, they are different era of opening up. So it's all about the personal issue, human issue, rather than a robotic issue, I should say. So what is your advice to how the businesses can cultivate the innovation within their teams, which come from diverse background?
Sure. Diversity is important, as you said, that every human being is different. They bring in different ideas and very different perspectives because of their upbringing, their past, their experiences. If we have to build a closely knit team, a team which is really effective in delivering what is expected out of them, we need to foster a culture of psychological safety,
Mm,
which means we encourage an environment where every team member, whichever may be his, her background, they feel safe to share ideas without any fear of criticism. They don't feel shy to admit their mistakes. They don't feel undermined to ask or to say that I don't know. Once you
mm,
build this kind of a culture, this promotes creativity, it promotes risk taking, it promotes experimentation.
mm,
And when I say experimentation, it means that people are not afraid to do things wherein there is a risk of failure. They are not
mm,
afraid to make mistakes. If you build this fundamental culture of psychological safety, that that becomes the a strong route to develop products which are globally advanced.
mm, mm.
Other
And
than that, of course, as I mentioned, leveraging technology is something that we should all be looking forward. But another important factor is encouraging collaboration. Again, within the team, every team member has a different skill set. We must identify the right skill set for every individual. We should not be expecting a fish to be climbing the trees or a monkey to be swimming under the water. We should identify the right potential, the right skill set, and bring all of that together in a collaborative environment so that everyone contributes to the right pieces of the puzzle so that they all fall in place together and then weave a matrix or tapestry of a fundamental product which is loved by the customers, which solves real world problems, which brings in customer delight. If we have this culture within the team, I don't see a reason why any team would fail or
mm.
any business would not succeed.
So, one important point which I have taken here is that the guys come out from this, the world of software. We become a people person because your team can create a lot which AI can't think about it. Because this is the team which is actually giving the feeds to the AI to create something, good out of it. AI is a tool, invest in people,
Yes.
invest in their emotions, make them as the partner rather than a bossy culture. So
Yes.
thanks for bringing this thing very much, because today when I talk with any AI company, they said we are only a people of 3 4 people, founder, co-founder, sort of XYZ things, and we can do, we can shake the world. So, but I'm not sure. Maybe few of them are able to make some mark, but again, if you create a long-lasting impact, you need a good team, and that's your
Yes.
responsibility as a leader. So
Absolutely.
thanks for bringing this very important message. And there's no point of saying openly that you are a people person, Bhuvnesh. So if you have to reach to the leader top, so be like Bhuvnesh.
Thank you.
Now, again, I also want to reflect here one more. Uh, I should say your passion, not a hobby, not a your. There's a passion which I found that you are always been a knowledge sharing person. So whether you are events, you are as a speaker, writing an article, you put a lot of your insights whenever you get a time, bring on the social media. So how this thing comes into you?
See, I believe in two things. One is unless you teach, hello, can you hear
Yeah,
me?
yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. Unless you teach, you can't really grasp a subject.
Um,
And second is unless you share, you will never grow.
hmm,
So if we inculcate this culture of sharing, knowledge sharing, or bringing everyone, or at least try to bring everyone to your level in terms of knowledge, whatever you have gathered. Your team remains suboptimal. If you start to bring in a culture of sharing, everyone understands that if I know something, I try to teach it to someone who doesn't know about it. I will also grasp the subject even deeper than I know today.
Mm.
So it's not just that you are doing a favor to someone else, you are doing a favor to yourself. I strongly believe in that. So as an individual, sharing knowledge, it's a powerful catalyst for your personal growth. As an organization, knowledge sharing actually fosters a culture of continuous learning and innovation.
Mm.
It actually encourages collaboration, which we mentioned that it's one of the important factors for success. It improves problem solving capabilities. It boosts productivity. In fact, we as an organization, we have gone one step beyond. We also encourage sharing across organizations, even with our competition. So we are actively involved in many community led development projects, open source, we call it. And whatever innovations we do, we contribute it towards that community so that everyone is able to use it. And
Mm.
that people used to say initially that it will increase your competition, kill your business. But I have seen that it only helps you find more partners. It helps you find more markets. It helps you find more customers. And it builds a relationship of trust, not just with your collaborators, but with your customers also. For
Mm.
example, doing a Wi-Fi project with our competitors together, we were able to find new markets, new areas which we could never serve by ourselves. We supplied some part of the solution, our competitor supplied another part of the solution. Eventually, for the end customer, it became a fully stitched solution, all in a very collaborative mode, and it builds a level of trust in the customer, and they recommend your name everywhere. So eventually, it becomes a growth tool for you, not a hindering tool for you. So I strongly believe that we should have open source culture, knowledge sharing, and collaborative innovation that we strongly believe in, and we continue to work towards that.
Mm. So you created a win-win-win model. Win for the customer, win for your, I should say now partner, not a competitor, and win for yourself as well. So
Every yes,
so and in the business world, the market is huge, right? And not single company in the world will give all the 100% order to a one company. They always keep the competition alive, and that's the
exactly,
rule. So
exactly.
so that collaboration is very much. I like to ask one important part here is when you first went on the stage, there was always a fear of presenting. Now you are an expert, right? No point of asking that thing. But maybe 20 years back, when you first step on the stage and you were given a topic to talk about, so how was that feeling, and how you able to foster, and how you are able to come with that conquer that fear?
So I remember this. The first talk I gave was in 2001. I was a 2 year experienced engineer, and my boss was supposed to deliver this talk in IIT Roorkee, and he was supposed to talk about Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi was very new technology in those days, and somehow he fell sick, and he asked me, "Why don't you go and deliver this talk?" I had no clue about Wi-Fi. I did not know anything about the technology, but he said, "You prepare, and if you prepare on the subject, you will prepare on the subject with an intent to teach it to someone else." It was towards college kids only. Then you will know it deeper than anyone else. I prepared for the topic for 2 days only, because only 2 days before I got to know that I have to go and deliver. Of course, I was very nervous, very fearful. There were hundreds of students, all smart, and I was very afraid how things will go. But eventually it turned out that only first few seconds I was afraid. But once I started talking about technology, I forgot about everything. I just I just focused on sharing what I have learned in last 2 days, what I know about the technology, which of course was very new and not many people knew about it. And the moment you start to have this feeling of that you are interacting with someone, just sharing your thoughts, you lose that fear of being judged or fear of how what people will think about you, and that becomes the key to public speaking.
Wow. No, that's because we all have a very very good friend circles, and when someone it has been informed, yeah, you why don't you start talking, on the stage or representing on the stages, although they are genius, but they don't have that courage, muscle to take a first step on that stage. So it's the important message which you mentioned, be at yourself, talk freely, Obviously, if you start thinking what others will think about you, you will lose the grip. So
Exactly.
it's your stage, it's your show, it's your time, it's your knowledge, it's your experience, which no one can question about it.
Yes.
Mhm. I'm pretty much sure a lot of the young leaders will now we will see a lot of new faces at the stages after the.
We'll be glad to see.
It is very important to pump them, and again giving them the ownership and the opportunity to present themselves. Mm. Um, you are always been involved in this community giving, right? So you uplift the community. So can you share some of the initiatives, what you are doing, and how you get the time to serve them, from your busy schedule?
So I have been involved. I've been fortunate enough to get involved in many community projects. One of them is very close to my heart is creating first PM Vani villages in India. We as an organization, we created the first two fully connected PM Vani villages in India. It was 2020, peak time of COVID, when everything was in lockdown. I read a news somewhere in one of the articles that one of the villages in a remotest part of Karnataka, their kids are walking few miles to get connected to internet so that they can attend their classes. Their villages, that particular village did not have any connectivity, and kids would walk miles to be in a region where they get some connectivity and attend their school classes.
Mm.
I actually reached out to the editor of that article. I asked him, "Can you connect me to the village sarpanch or whosoever is the owner who can help us create this connectivity solution within the village?" And within 6, 7 months, when the lockdown norms were loosened a bit, we got essential services license from the government. I traveled to that village along with my team. We realized that it was a very small village, sparsely populated,
Mm.
total, I think, 9,000 residents spread around 9 square kilometers or something, but population in pockets. And there were schools, there were community spots where people would gather, but it was still not open for students to come to school.
Mm.
Lockdown norms were eased a bit, but students still needed to be online to connect to attend their classes. We also realized that this particular village was falls under a very heavy rain zone, which
Mm.
means that almost all 11 months of the year it is raining. And due to that, even power availability becomes a challenge. It's not a continuous power that they are getting off the grid.
Mm.
So we designed a solution to to overcome all these needs. First, to take care of power, we ensured that the equipment that we supply is very power efficient and it can run on solar. So
Mm.
we designed solar panels, solar charging solution wherein it will charge the batteries and it will take care of continuous connectivity even for days if there is no sun. So the battery was enough to take care of it for a few days, even if there is no sun. And as soon as sun comes or grid power comes, it will continuously charge the batteries.
Hmm.
Then we realized that we cannot deploy in every home of the village. We have to deploy the Wi-Fi solution in few areas where we can cover maximum of the village. So we deployed all outdoor Wi-Fi. We designed specialized antennas so that they penetrate inside the homes of a large cluster of homes, carefully selected the spots where we should deploy, and eventually, at the end of 3 months of effort, we deployed the entire solution. And post that, after 3 or 4 months of that effort, I actually visited the village once again to understand how things are going. It was really an overwhelming experience when you walk into a village where people don't know your language, you don't know their language, but they know you and they want to invite you for lunch in their homes. Every single person, wherever I visited, they knew that I belong to that organization where we have provided this connectivity, and now kids are able to take their classes from inside their homes, and they are fully connected. They are able to utilize entertainment, digital banking, all those services, which were never possible because there was no connectivity. That that made me feel that we are really solving live problems of real customers. Even if it was a CSR project, it was not a paid opportunity for us, but the kind of the kind of fulfillment it gave, I don't think any amount of business would give you. You enter a village and everyone knows you, everyone wants you to invite you to their home for lunch. It was a tremendous feeling.
So it's a celebrity type feeling, but definitely which impact their life. So education is
Absolutely.
one of the use case, right? When you talk about this, uh, fintech money or this M-Pesas and the other things of the world, so that's actually create improve the economical situation as well because
Yeah.
now the
So, behind all these use cases, fundamental requirement is connectivity.
it's
So
connectivity.
we enabled connectivity for them, and after that, every use case followed, even more than what we could think of. One of the use cases people used there was they started to use emails,
Hmm.
which they were not doing earlier. They were totally dependent on post offices for
Hmm.
sending money, sending letters. They stopped that. They started to use technology. They started to use digital money. They started to use emails. They started to use video conferencing with their relatives, their loved ones. Even kids would play online games. They would collaborate each other over tools like video conferencing tools like Zoom, Teams, and all that. And we actually made few videos of live users, kids, school teachers, and in many of the videos they are speaking their local language, which at least I don't understand, but you could feel their happiness flowing out of their faces, that they are so happy to have this technology now being used every day, and that's the real fulfillment that you get.
Yes, yeah, yeah. Even if I want to take one step forward, maybe a smart village will be the next phase, and then obviously it's a scalable models.
Yes.
So impacting the one life will actually giving them a right connectivity. I'm not saying give them 100% the quality of service because for them the basic fulfillment is the
Yeah.
connectivity. So,
And for 1 year the project continued by our organization. After that we handed over to village level entrepreneurs, and they are running it even today by themselves. They are sustaining it. It's not
mm,
any more funded by us, but they are self sustaining it. So that actually proves the concept of this smart, energy efficient, connected network, wherein
mm.
people are able to sustain it years after years.
Agree. I totally agree. And I can visualize that thing, how your feelings would be there, what is the happy faces. And obviously, it's not an easy project because if you have to deal with the weather conditions, it looks like a happy story happy ending, but I understand the
It was really tough.
it's
The planning phase was really tough. Every day we would plan and we would find we will hit some roadblock and say that no, this planning won't work. Let's rethink again. For months it went on.
mm, no, no, and the situation remains the same for most of the villages in India
Even today.
and even today, and even for the developing countries also,
Yeah.
countries
We have done
also.
a similar project in Kenya also, and that
Yes.
was one project that I was talking about doing with our collaborators. Facebook funded that project, Meta
Mm,
now.
mm,
One of our competitors who supply only the software, they collaborated with us. We supplied the hardware, they supplied the software. Another company supplied the controller, and all three of us we worked together, created a solution funded by Facebook. It was deployed in Kenyatta University during COVID years, and even today the network is live and people are using it.
mm, yeah, yeah. Mm. No, I agree. I agree. I totally agree, and I can visualize what is and what are the practical challenges. But this has to be a regular process, which the only the I believe the to start with the big giants like yours can do that because it's required not only the the month of deployment, but also required a deep pockets as well as the deep thoughts also. Uh, the intention should be right.
Correct.
Um, I will not take much time, but I would like to go to the last question. Specifically, what is your advice for the young professional? I know you have given a lot many strategies, but still, any few words which you want to share with them?
Uh, One thought I would like to put as my last remark for this talk is we all, whether be it a technologist or an individual, as an individual, we should focus our energies on solving bigger problems that truly matter. Most of the times we get bogged down by small day to day struggles. I missed my bus, I spent too much time on traffic, and we get bogged down with these small things. My lunch did not taste as good as I expected, and we spend our energies just focusing on these small struggles. They don't matter. We should always be consciously focusing on solving bigger problems that truly matter, and that will not only help us meaningfully innovate, it personally builds your character, it personally builds who you are. And once we start to focus on bigger things, we eventually end up living happier.
So,
We are not challenged, or we don't get depressed by small things here and there which we see every day around us.
mm,
So my message is focus on solving bigger problems that truly matter to you or someone else, which help improve solving someone's problems or improving their lives. That's the message I want to give.
very important message. Yeah, people get waved with the small issues that become the part of their job. And if you deal with smaller things, your character, your personality will also get deteriorated, and you are not able to explore the full potential of your capacity and capability. So thanks for bringing that a very important message, and I'm pretty much sure I also, get motivated personally. I shouldn't say it's only for the young, it's for every individual at what stage you are in your professional career, but it's a very motivational thing. So thanks for bringing it up.
Thank you, Deepak. It's a pleasure.
So, Bhuvnesh, thank you so much. This has been an eye-opening conversation. I personally learned a lot. I now understand, what keeps you busy, honestly, and what the work which you are doing, to improve the life of your team, your organization, and also what is the transformation you are bringing to the Indian community. Obviously, there are so many communities which you are being involved into, but yes, this is something which is important. So, Bhuvnesh, if anyone wants to connect with you, what will be the right channel so that if someone wants to take some guidance on the mentorship, on the challenges that they are facing in their business products, So what is the right channel for them to connect
I'm
with you?
active on LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn would be the right platform to connect to me. I'm very active on that, and I should be able to respond very quickly if someone wants to connect with me.
Perfect, perfect. So thanks for opening that channel, because the true leaders are actually also accessible for the people who really needs their help. So thank you so much, Bhuvnesh, for your time.
Thank you. Thanks, Deepak. It was my pleasure talking to you.
Thank you. Thanks again, once again, and to the audience. Until next time, this is Deepak Bajaj signing off.
Bye bye. Thank you.